Money, money, ride the pony. Money, money, ride the pony. Blow my nosy. You know what? It's Friday. And do you know what Friday means? It means there's a weekend. Isn't this fun? So, why is it that people, no matter where you go in life, I turned on the heat, it's getting chilly in here. Anybody want a banana? You know, it's ridiculous what people do. They don't leave things alone. Control freaks, bossy butts. You work in a place, you work in a corner of the universe, and you think you're bigger than you are. You have no passion, you're boring as hell. I try to like you, I try to work with you, and you're a pain in the butt problem. Why are there people like that in every place we work? They act as though you have never had any experience, that you've never had 59 years of your life. They talk to you like a child. They're rude, they're patronizing. And all you did was show up at work with a good, eager beaver attitude. And you're like, what the heck is wrong? And then he's shooting his little machine gun at everybody, almost provoking somebody to want to go off. One thing I know about men, you got to watch. We're all grown men. I like what the blacks say, stay in your lane. The only time I get out of my lane is when somebody's putting their stuff in mine. Don't park your crap in my lane. Move it to the shoulder. Hello, Franny, and welcome. Why do we have people like that? People want to control you, boss you. They're from another department. They're not even over you. I saw that at transportation. You had a black woman there that looked like a poop emoji. I'm not the only one who said that. Several black ladies said, oh my gosh, Mike, we thought the same thing. She kept telling everybody in service about flow chart, chain of command. She doesn't follow any of it. Wants to boss the shop around, wants to boss other departments around. It's like, chick, stay in your lane. Why are there people like that? You're not going to die, then go to heaven, and God's going to say you were the best warehouse worker of anybody on the planet Earth. You're going to die one day, and the minute you leave your job, a week after you're gone, poof! Nobody cares. Nobody cares. People work 20, 30, 40 years for a business. They get a nice little fake plaque with a fake little brass nameplate. Thank you for your dedication here. Then they think because they were in that position that the business can't survive without them. And guess what? The business is surviving. People have forgotten them. And now you're sitting in your recliner watching reruns. And a week later, you die. Congratulations. Folks, we need to have joy in the journey, whatever we do. And don't get me wrong. Hello, Angie. How are you? And welcome to the show. Why do people gotta just mess with stuff they shouldn't mess with? I was in Minnesota, and I had a neighbor came up to me when we inherited the house of my former wife's mom, and it was a light beach blue, and I liked it. The overweight, attitudinal chick from next door, Mike, you gonna change the color of that house? I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I kind of like that color. Mike, nobody likes that blue. I said, I do. But I haven't decided yet. The side doesn't take paint, so they've had problems with it since the house was built. They've scraped and sanded and painted, and the paint doesn't stay. I ended up getting a very deep maroon metal siding that she was complaining about the color, and my house made her house look like a, well, boring. I make mistakes, but give me time. I'll come up with something. And when I do, I thought it was weird in that small town. People were driving by. That town, nothing happens. Even my wife at that time said, look at all the people driving. It's like it's a parade. I said, what is this, the tour of remodeling homes? And I went to the local contractor. I said, that trim color, does that company have that in siding? He looked at me and he grinned. He goes, I don't know, but let me call them. Mike, they have it. Mike, I think that'd be a hot color. He says, nobody's done that. I said, yes. The company used our house. They took photos of it with our consent to use as a model, and they built a home to showcase that siding. They said, you are the first one to bump out of the bubble. He said, look in your neighborhood, peach, tan, beige, white, brown. I said, we just went from the worst looking house on the block to the best. He goes, without even trying. You know, people put me down, but Mike Nelson has his signature on 2nd Street South in Minnesota, in that town. Still. And the spruce tree I planted, the railroad ties I put in place, I love it. Hello, Colette. Hello, Don. Priming, they did all that, Don. I don't know if there was something wrong with the clapboard siding or the paint they were using. I don't know. It was a 1953 house. But the point of the story is a younger neighbor who went to France and thought she was Mademoiselle, and she wasn't. She wasn't pretty. She was like putting lipstick on a pig, and I'm going to say it. She ended up being a problem. Sticking her nose where it don't belong. Hey, honey, this is our house, not yours. And I wouldn't do it, but if I want to paint it chartreuse, sucks to be you. I am mindful that when you're in a neighborhood, you want to do things that stand out, but not in a way where everybody says, what the hell was he thinking? How to win friends and influence neighbors. I did it here. I did it in Minnesota. 2 contrary cultures. I have taste. If I think about something, by the grace of God, by the gift of God, He's given me the ability to do something. Franny, what's interesting is the guy across the street who was a showboat. He'd pull his boat out in the spring out of storage. Being his driver, and every time a car went by, he'd be standing up in the boat while he was getting it ready for opening week of fishing. And he'd puff out his chest, and he didn't realize we could see out our living room windows this show. First thing I did is we took out that big, giant plate glass window. Never did like those. I did double hungs with low E glass so you can't see inside unless the lights are on. His house was 60s pink. Changed the color of the house to a burnt orange. Took his concrete cracked driveway and had a tar sealer come out and seal it, make it look like asphalt. Changed their front window. He and my wife said, "You started something." I said, "I see that. I think it's funny." Hello, Ann Brown. How are you? I don't like them. I think like a ship, but I think with a house, I like crossbars. I like the old school windows. I'm guilty as charged. My house is a mixture, by the way, of both. There are no rules when you do remodel except code and the aesthetics, functionality. When you look at shipbuilding, when you look at the White Star Line and the Cunard Line, they were competing to build the best in ships that grabbed the customers. When they built the Titanic, they weren't making it for speed. They made it for opulence. When they built the Normandy, they made it for opulence and speed, and the Normandy single-handedly stole the hearts of Parisians. And most people would agree that the Normandy was probably the most beautiful ocean liner ever constructed. Funnel so massive, so huge. It had a yacht-like bow, and she was design masterpiece summa cum laude. She broke the speed record only to have it beat by the Queen Mary. The Queen Mary was more old school, but the Queen Mary's beautiful. I've walked on her decks many times. It's a shame the Normandy didn't live beyond World War II. An acetylene torch or sabotage started the beautiful Art Deco Grand Taj Mahal of Art Deco liners and burned it up bad. They pumped so much water into it, she turned over in the Hudson River at her birth. Ice all over the river. It was a sad, sad, depressing death of one of the greatest liners ever to sail the ocean. La Normandie. And the French knew what they were doing. I've got to give credit to the French. They knew how to design stuff. Always snacking. Hello, Deal. Hello, Gabby. I remember growing up in California, and when they were cutting edge, when people built the money people built homes, and they put all big, giant walls of glass. I'm like, I don't like that. One rock, and your whole house is wide open to the world. It's an addiction deal, I'm telling you. At least this white boy ain't eating junk food. Play that funky music, white boy. Why do people try to dominate and control others? Why? I've experienced this everywhere I go. I've had to turn around and say, so, did you know I've lived a long time? And if you think you're going to come in here and rule and corral me, you better stand in the line of all those in the past that weren't successful. Bud. Men especially. But women do it. Women do it too. But men, hey, Rory, the mental institution is down the hall to the left. That's room 101. For anybody that voted for that mayor, needs to have themselves checked. That was stupid. Stupid. Neeks, I love you. How are you? What do you mean, why? Rory's a Muslim. Did you hear him? CNN got into it with him, and CNN is trash journalism, and they are taking him to task. Lady Gaga's father condemned him. Lady Gaga's dad. A communist in New York. Rory, tell me how in the world you can support communism in a capitalist, free enterprise society. Let's go. Let's talk. Tell me the benefits of communism. It worked in Cuba, right? It worked in the former USSR. And it's working in China, right? Hey, Ricky. Absolutely, Ricky. Absolutely 100%. Neeks, I'm good. It's Friday. Oh, yeah. Too bad you can't come over. Too bad you can't come over, Neeks. It's Friday night, and the mood is right. Gonna have some fun, show you how it's done. TGIF. Neeks, you're what? 6 hours ahead of me? It's 5:29 Eastern Standard Time. What time are you at? I know. So if you're 6 hours ahead of me, you're at what? 1 o'clock? You're 7 hours ahead. Oh my. No, that ain't right. Boy, I better learn my math. So you're 12:30. You're on lunch. And Ricky, welcome. I'm off the wall, but I talk about things. I'm a conservative, I'm a Christian, and I'm just have my own unique style, but we talk about issues here, and that mayor is a joke. This is not a Muslim country. And that guy's saying, I'm going to bring Sharia law to New York. Good luck with that, clown. Even the Democrats that are stupid enough to vote for you are not going to submit to that. But, F-A-F-O, and that's what that mayor's going to do. They're slated to 800,000 people they're thinking are going to leave the city because of him being elected. Hello, Johan. $12.30, got you. Yeah, Franny. Cuba under Fidel Castro was ruined. Those people drove and patched up 57 Chevys for decades because that's how wonderful communism is. It stifles and quells and kills everything. Fidel Castro was a jerk. He was an idiot. And every one of these communist leaders have one thing in common. Build up their bank accounts like a capitalist pig while telling everybody to lose all their rights, lose all their money, and live like paupers. Look at the USSR. People wait in line to buy a can of beans and a potato. Stupid. Have we not learned from history and we're repeating it again? Welcome to the Democrats. What a wanker. Johan, yeah. He's getting CNN pitched at him. Good. I hope the liberal idiot news networks wake the hell up and take him to task. They need to have a psych evaluation before these people in New York can vote again. And if they don't pass, they don't get to vote. Sam, these avocado flavored are the bomb. Mr. Berg has a YouTube channel, and he very much is against seed oils, and I notice it's in everything. Safflower, sunflower, cottonseed, canola. Canola's like the garbage of oils. Unfortunately, I use it. I used to think sunflower oil was good. But they're saying avocado and oil, or avocado and olive is the best. But have you seen the price of that stuff? Skateboard, Dollar Tree. $1.25. They're cheaper than Cheetos, Fritos, Doritos, and mosquitoes. Why is it young people think that communism is something to embrace? Because they didn't pay attention to history and the public schools didn't talk about how stupid it is. Mosquito. Hey, Sam, in Georgia, mosquitoes are included free of charge. Why does Ma'am Dammy want to bring in radical shift? You know, if people want Islam and they want Sharia law, go to the frickin' Middle East. Go turn yourself into Tehran and say, I want to be inducted into the Islamic Hall of Fame. You want to be a communist? Go to China. Go meet Xi Jinping and have a nice conversation with him. Democrats are stupid. And that's spelled S-T-O-O-O-O-O-P-I-D. The Democrats really believe in bondage and BDSM and sadomasochism because what they're doing, that's going to be painful. You let these Muslims pour into this country and they start forming concentric circles and taking over. Look at Londonistan. Look at Paris. Look at what the Muslims have done. They don't care about your little Parisian shops and eateries and bistros. These people are unrelenting evil, tearing up everything, vandalizing, suicide bombing, terrorist acts. These people are crazy. I lived in Hong Kong for over a year, Ricky. And I do not want to go to China, even though it's part of China now. Rather, it was handed back by the British in 1997. Everybody oogles at Beijing and Shanghai. Folks, Those are front cities. They make it look like they're capitalists and free enterprise. Go ahead. Try to get permission and clearance to go to the provinces in China. Good luck with that. The communists do not want you to go in certain areas. They don't want you to see what they've done to the rest of the people. Remember in 2019 when they were tearing down all the churches and driving them out? Communists have no tolerance for God, no faith. They have no faith or tolerance for the Bible. And when Russia, in 1989, when the Berlin Wall fell down, what did the Russians ask for? Bibles. They want to know what the heck it was the big flap about banning it and keeping it out of their country. Jesus Christ said to Peter, when he said to the disciples, but who do you say thou art the Christ? Jesus said, that's right. And upon that rock of truth, I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. You think you can keep people from hearing the truth? God will make sure that they get it. Communism, and God does not support that. He does not. People say Jesus was a socialist. No, he wasn't. He had commands in the Bible for rich and poor. He realized there were some people that had more money than others. He never condemned that. He said, and this is where a lot of Christians get it wrong. They said money's the root of all evil. Excuse me, there's a word before that. The love of money. When you make money, you're God. You can be poor. You can be average U.S. citizen like myself. I'm a homeowner. I'm not rich. I do not make $50,000 a year. But you can still love money and be guilty of idolatry. You can be rich and you can be pleasing to God. It's about this right here, folks. Where your heart is, there your treasure will be. Some of us, our hearts in all kinds of things, but God. I have a problem with lust. Every day, I love the beauty of women. The diversity of breasts is amazing. I never get tired of looking at another breast. But guess what? God is Lord, and he's not done with Michael. But you're going to vote in a communist. You want people to control you and tie you up and beat you because that's what's coming. And the day's going to come. Hello, Arwu. The problem is Islam to me has no place in America. I understand our Constitution talks about the freedom of religion, but Islam should be banned from the U.S. because you cannot build a Christian church in an Islamic state. Look what they're doing in Nigeria. Muslims are real tolerant people, right? I don't agree with Mormons. I don't agree with Jehovah's Witnesses or Catholics or Buddhists or Hindus, but I believe in the right to people to believe, whether I agree with them or not. You try to win them over respectfully. You argue in the mind. Islam conquers by terrorism and threats and killing, and the Quran even says all that convert not to Allah slay. Slay the infidel wheresoever. What's an infidel? Anybody who's not a Muslim? Islam is not a religion of peace. Ever. Never was. Never will be. False religion binds the soul to hell. That's interesting, Arwu. Gary, it says money, the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of, not money, the love of. Little test you can do to see if you love money is ask yourself, now I don't play lottery, I don't gamble. Oh, if I won $10 million, oh, there you go. How many of us can get up and say, God, I thank you for what you've given me and be content? How many? That we all have to strive for. This is not junk food, by the way. Look at that. Non-GMO, gluten-free. They don't put so much salt that your lips pucker up. No artificial flavors or colors. Dehydrated potato, potato starch, salt, garlic powder, tomato powder, turmeric. Spices. I mean, spices are good for you. Turmeric was what they recommended during COVID to take that helped fight COVID. Zinc, too. Did you, Arwu? I never tried the turmeric. I got COVID and I thought, man, is this what it means to die? 8 days of incredible fever. My weight. I got a metabolism, don't quit, but I looked like a skeleton after a week plus of COVID. Hello, Gerald. How are you? Gerald, what do you think of them electing a communist, godless, communist Islamic mayor in New York? What do you think about that? Isn't that crazy? They're good. Dollar Tree has them. Called Good Health. You might see the yellow bags. Some of your stores might not have shifted over to the green avocado oil. The taste is so much better since they changed that. Mayor, Mom, Daddy. See, we got a younger generation that didn't grow up on the words of JFK. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. You see this in mentality on the dating sites. Women saying, I want a man who... Hey, women, how about if you try this experiment? Put yourself out what you have to offer and give into a relationship instead of all these demands. Because to date, I haven't seen an intelligent date profile of any woman. All they are is a damn liability expecting us to serve them with a golden platter while you give nothing in return. Sounds like socialism to me. No thanks. I'll just use my hand. That works. No drama. No bond that has to be ripped and torn and hurt feelings. People wonder why men look at porn. That's why. It's not safe to date today. Not at all. Johan, you are 100% right. Believing that the Democrats will turn around and have a come to Jesus moment is like thinking you can raise the Titanic with a bicycle pump. Let me know how that works out for you. John, chicken broth, piping hot peppermint tea with honey in it, maybe a little lemon. You got a neti pot. Don't put it in your nose, but do the vapor rub. Put it under here and slather it on your chest. Those vapors will actually go through into the bronchial when you go to sleep at night. Yep, the Democrats have lost their minds. Start spreading the news. Yorker's gonna sing the blues. 'Cause they elected a communist. Welcome to Sharia law. Women will wear burqas. Men will be forced to read the Quran. We got a woman, Muslim, running for governor of Georgia. She's throwing her hat in the ring. And watch this. The black liberals will vote her in. Emran, I have no idea if you'll make the NBA because I don't know your stats. And if you do that one more time, you are out of the room. Stop flooding the room with that. Please. That's ridiculous. Once is enough. We're adults here. I don't know if you'll make the NBA. I don't know your skill set, dude, and I'm not the one that decides who makes the NBA. You play pro already, then keep doing it. Keep playing and do your best. I'm not the one that makes the decision who gets abducted into the hall of basketball. Emram, you're asking foolish questions. No, I don't believe in you. I don't even know you. I believe in Jesus Christ. Died on a cross, rose from the dead 3 days later, and coming back, buddy. Coming back in glory. Nothing's wrong with me. What the hell is wrong with me? The fact is, I'm not going to hell. I'm going to put you on timeout because you're losing your mind. 10 minutes. Calm down, dude. We get all kinds coming to chat, don't we? Women of the night. Okay. Women's basketball. Brittany Griner ball. Brittany Griner wishes she had balls. Sorry, honey, those are made for men. Some of these lesbians, they really try hard to be man. Sorry, girl, you don't have family jewels. Next. Brittany Griner is not attractive. But this is an example of what I'm talking about. You got people at work, they're going to be the big man at work or the big woman. They want to dominate their little work area. And they're so short-sighted that we live in a country where there's this whole world going on. And you got some guy in the corner of the warehouse talking and acting like Big Bird and bossing everybody around. Like, dude, I want to go up and say, you're offending everybody. You're on a hell bent back here. You're not the boss. Let our boss be the boss. Do your job. Put in 8 hours and go home. You're not going to save the planet by being a warehouse superstar, dude. Good night. Some lesbians are redeemable. Absolutely. Italian pros. I haven't got the will to try and fight. Yeah. You take my self-control. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I live among the creatures of the night. I haven't got the will to try and fight. Okay, Laura, what are you talking about in that song? And I like the song, but what are you talking about? Who are the creatures of the night? I have a problem because I think lesbians are beautiful. The pretty ones. I like what they do with each other. That's part of my fallen nature. And I got there because women seem to have little or no passion towards us men. I'm not beating up on the women, but I've seen it. I've lived 59 years. I've had a lot of experience with women. And lesbians seem to have more passion and they get more turned on by each other than they do us. And I get more turned on watching two lesbians than the idea of having sex with a woman that's too much work. And yeah, don't even get me started. You know, we're a broken world. We need God. I need God. I need God every day because I struggle with sin. Just this morning, I was looking at pornographic images of two women kissing on each other. I mean, it's hot. Eroticism is fascinating to me, even though it's lust of the flesh. I want somebody to love me. Oh, I want somebody to love. Boy, love has just become cheap. I love my truck. I love my cat. I love my dog. I love my Starbucks Frate Latte $8 hoopty. Strap. Oh, I was just about to read that, Brett. You're too much. God shows us mercy, Dana. That's right. Thank God for his mercy. I can relate to Paul. Oh, wretched man that Michael is. My thoughts are dark. I spend a lot of time in erotic thinking. I have a voracious sexual appetite and I love to look at what women do with each other. It's fascinating. I've learned from it. When I've made love with women, I've done some of what the women do to other women, and they're like, Mike, you are such a good lover. I said, I know. I watch lesbian porn, and they laugh. Oh, you get it. Yes, ma'am. Brad, you're telling me to calm down. Have you been on the channel much? I haven't even gotten started, dude. I'll turn on the turbos and I will wind it up and spool it up, dude. Just sit down and strap yourself in for this ride. Bandito, all of our thoughts are dark. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, Brent. I thought you were telling me to, boy, settle down, boy. Now settle down. Foghorn Leghorn. Who's Dawn? Did I miss Dawn? Oh my gosh, Dawn's on my dressing again. Here, Dawn. Here. You want to get all lathered up here? How about this, Dawn? Is that okay? You more comfortable with that? Here, you want to see my nipple, Dawn? You want to see that? Is that nice? Here, I'll just take my shirt off, then it'll solve the problem. Now I'm not dressed. There, problem solved. Now let's focus on the topics at hand, okay? You know what? I'm confident. I'm crazy, but I'm confident. Dawn, focus on what matters. Ooh, I'll show her. Dawn, you want to lick my nipples? Even guys like that too, and they're nice and clean. I smell good too. Oh, I need a woman to love on me. Baby! Anybody read my God? What do you mean, read my God? I understand that, Johan. Most people are. And I've said over and over and over ad nauseum, I like to dress the way I am. I like some women's shirts and I cannot lie, but a cross-dresser is not my alibi. I just do what I do, man. So what? But Michael, but nothing. You don't like it, don't watch, don't participate. I'm not leading anybody over the cliff, okay? You're going to get more truth here, more honest realness, more genuine, honest confession about me and my flaws and my struggles than you will on any other YouTube artist out there. I don't have to compete with nobody. I don't have to compete with Toilet Seat Man or Triangle sitting in the shower going jump, 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 or eewoo, 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 honey bunch. Or all the women that got their big tatas hanging out and all the Sims going, oh my gosh, you're so talented. I subbed you. Talented? Showing big tatas is talent. Okay, boys, we need to go to class and talk about, do you think with the penis or do you think with this? It is not talent. If me as a man do fans only and go, hey boys, that's not talent. Anybody can be a little lecherous, filthy, vile, decadent little piggy online. I know. I've done my share of decadence. Hong Kong was my playground. I will not lie. The women were beautiful and they all wanted a piece of me and I let them have it. I made love to at least 10 women in the year that I was there. The only regret I have is it doesn't please God, but I have no regrets about experiencing those beautiful ladies. It was awesome. They taught me something. Asian lovers are incredible. The way they touch me, the way they talk to me, the way they're all over me, my gosh, there's nothing like it. And God led me to Georgia, and I'm in rehab. I'm in detox. I haven't made love to a woman in 7 years. I came close. We were flirting with a few in the past here, but it went nowhere. I'm in detox. And man, is it hard. The withdrawal, the living the lecherous, fornicated life that I lived in Hong Kong. I come here and it's like, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. And say, la, 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 la. And all I see is sagebrush and snakes on 2 legs. Wow. Don, I like to dress this way. Michael doesn't want to fit in the box. Why do people fixate on this over and over and over and over and over and over again? Why? Why are they so obsessed with what I'm wearing? Leilani, thank you. I try to be a touchstone for people so that they can realize you're not alone. I try to reach the people that are genuine. I hate corporate America. I'll go on the record saying that. By the way, I love this. Would that be a hunter's green? No, it's deeper than that. You know what I cannot stand is Cabela's the hunter camo. And they got it on trucks. Boy, talk about ugly. You'd be better off wearing army camo than that hunter camo. That stuff just, man, talk about a bunch of guys up north doing that. They all wear that. They got matching pants. Freaking Carhartts now. Hunter green. Not even green. It's just, man. Now, teal's more, I thought teal had more turquoise in it. Me love you. You know what, though, Paul? I'm going to say it. My opinion. The best love I ever made was in Asia, not here. Americans have sex. Asians make love. There's a big, big, big difference. It may sound like I'm using semantics. And people say, well, maybe you haven't been with the right one. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. Don, I just say the same thing. You're trying to talk to me by talking to everybody else. Okay, I'm asking you, why do people have a fascination with what I wear? Why is that such a tripping point? I'm not smoking pot. I don't gamble. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't worship dogs and cats and call them my fur babies. Oh, my children. I don't support abortion. I voted for Trump. I am a dyed in the wool conservative. I am as honest as they come. I'm eccentric. I'm different. I'm like the Doors song, people are strange. But I'm very happy with me. That's all. I didn't attack. If you think that's an attack, girl, wait till I get fired up in here. You think this is an attack? Ooh, honey, no, it isn't. It's just that so many people are fired up over my clothing. Sometimes I like to be sensual as a man. I'm sorry, I like my shoulders. I like my look. I'm almost 60. I don't like what's happening to my neck. All them little wrinkles are showing up. And I do. I like my nipples. I do. I'm proud of the body God gave me. I look around. I was teased all my life in school, made fun of, four eyes, geek. Geek? I was into trucks. Geeks aren't into trucks. Man, I got F's in school until my junior year when I turned around. And you know why I turned around? Because my teachers in Arizona, they were the best I ever had. They made the subjects interesting, and I was like, man, I like this teacher. Arizona history and government. What an awesome class that was. Learned about the Indians, the gold, and all the different things. Arizona history and government was one of my favorite classes. Civics sucked. I invested in DuPont, McDonald's, and IBM, and I lost on all three stocks. I'm not a stockbroker for sure. Civics was boring. And there was this drop dead gorgeous woman sitting one desk over from me who had the nicest tots, nicest arms. She was drop dead gorgeous, but she had BO that didn't quit. And the other guys, the football players, were in there and they're like, how can somebody so hot smell so funky stank? I don't know. We had to give her, my friend had a Chevy truck. We went to Kirsten Olsen's house. She was a babe. And she made an invitation for us to all come to her house for a Halloween party. This was before I was saved, and spent the evening watching Krueger, Jason, and Friday the 13th, and that stuff scared the poo out of me. I begged Paul to stay the night at my house, or my room. He had the top bunk, I had the bottom. He said, are you afraid? I said, I'm scared shitless, man. I said, my room is outside on an acre property. It's dark. My parents are out of town. Dude, you got to stay. Every little sound will be going, oh. And Kirsten said, can you give this lady a ride home? Somebody dropped her off. Paul says, come on, Mike, let's take her home. She sat between us. She was a looker. But I mean, the minute we got in the truck, we were polite, cordial, dropped her off, door shut. Paul shifted it into drive, and he says, Mike, did you smell that? I started laughing. I said, who couldn't smell it, Paulie? Who couldn't smell that? That was nasty. Why does she have BO like that? She's gorgeous. I said, I know. Nobody wants to date her because of that. I just heard from my pastor, if you got diabetes, it can cause halitosis. Did you know that? Thank you, Tubla. I just like to wear certain things. I don't wear this stuff at work or church. See, Franny, and our society does that. Christians do it. Christians will hide behind scripture while they're bullying people. You're not honoring God. And you're God telling me you're being the Holy Spirit now. Just like the start of my video, why is it, whether it's at work, in this chat, that there are always people that have to try to control and tell you what to do? I talk on here. I say what I don't like. I don't get on here and say, when I see somebody doing something that's truly wrecking their life, I'm going to speak in here, and I have to several. But guess what? Leilani, it's going, and I'm on my thing. Let me see. I always wanted someone to love me like that. Yeah, that's it, All Saints. Is me wearing this disturbing my neighbor while they're in their house? Nope, he's playing video games. Now, if I come to church wearing a woman's top, I think that'd be out of place. Why? Because I know that people in there are not going to go for that. Well, Mike, you should be, I am myself. But I'm not going to go in there and wear a suit and tie. Most Christians that wear suits and ties are not the kind of people I want to emulate or follow. People that are concerned with dressing up instead of this are to be avoided. And that's what our society is built on, is this corporatism. How many people do you deal with in a day? I'm doing well. Why does everybody answer that way in a suit and tie? I'm doing well. Are you? Get close to them. You ever going to have an intimate conversation with the corporate dude or the woman? You know, people get on the phone and they got a complaint with the company and they start bitching at somebody. It's like, do you not realize this receptionist can't do it one freaking thing about your issue? And she's going to just say, I know, I'm really sorry, but there's nothing I can do about that. Professional is a way of acting. It is not from the heart. The word professional is not found anywhere from Genesis to Revelation. Did you know that? Christ never once tells us to be professional. He says, be tenderhearted, forgive one another, help those who are in need, pray for one another, love one another. Does not tell us to be professional. And what does our work do? Our work has its own gospel, and it's not good news. You can't say this, you can't talk about this, you got to be professional. What is professional? Now, I watched a guy get pretty dogmatic with a black guy that just started, and even me said, oh, that ain't right. He was talking about politics, and I heard the black guy say, well, that's your opinion, I don't agree. No, it isn't, it's a fact, and I can prove it to you. And I'm thinking, I came that close to saying, you might not want to do that at work. People think I'm racist because I made comments about the racial issues of Black America. I'm not racist at all. But even me, I'm a firm believer people should be able to be comfortable to come to their job and do their work. Everybody has a right to their belief, whether I agree with it or not. Everybody has the right to vote for whoever they want, whether I agree with it or not. But in the workplace, you can shelve your personal shit and get a job done. And that's what we're supposed to do. They're paying us to do a job, not be a witness for Jesus, not be a conservative, not be a Democrat, not be LGBT, straight, square, or divided by. When you go to work, you do your job. When you go to work, you do your job. You want to please God? Do your job, not with eye service. Do your job when nobody's looking. The supervisor came down the other day and said, Management wants to put cameras in the break room because people are smoking in here. And I told them, please don't put cameras in here. I don't want people to feel like they're being watched. And he's telling people, can you not smoke in here? We got a brand new break room. Can you not do that? And that guy that drilled the black guy, he got sideways with me, accused me of something. And he had been a butthole all day. I said, I need to ask you this because I'm looking at the ticket. I cannot find this. Well, it's at the pack table. I said, well, I looked and it's not there. Did you look on the pack table? I looked and it's not there. Well, did you accidentally box it? I said, no, I've not seen these things. And he goes to the computer. He said, well, so-and-so did that. And he put them over there. And I said, I never saw them. And I'm not doubting him. I would never doubt him. And then I turned around. I'm like, wait a minute. And there was a baggie, not on the table, but on a pallet down an aisle next to a giant leaf spring. And I said, these? Yeah, those are them. Yeah, they weren't on the pack table. And I just realized that the other guy set them over there. And I don't know what's going on, dude. But now you're going to talk down to me. And now you're going to treat me like a little kid. And he was being a butthole to the guy he's training and me, then the guy I work with. I went to the guy I work with. We had to go to another warehouse and drive over to it. And I said, what is going on? And he looked at me and says, don't talk to him. I said, I didn't. I was on my break, leaning against the pack table for the last 2 minutes of break. And he says, Michael Nelson, did you throw away a bunch of boxes? Empty ones. I've been doing that every day. No, they were flat. They were battery boxes. I said, I don't know if I did. Well, you did. I said, I don't recall throwing flat boxes. And I walked over and said, see this big giant cardboard bin? When you guys are done with your empties, you throw them and miss, and they're on the floor. And every evening I've cleaned them up, broken them down, and taken them to the dumpster. I don't recall seeing flat in a stack, neat boxes that were never used. But I may have incidentally thought they were done and threw them in there, but I don't recall that. I'm not arguing. And the black guy stood there just shaking his head. Later on, he came over. I said, you doing all right? He goes, I'm waiting to get out. I said, I feel for you and I see what's going on. He goes, thank you that you noticed that. I said, no, it ain't right. It ain't right. You're not the only one. Then he got into it with the guy I work with. And he came up to me and said his name. And I almost said, don't talk to him. But I didn't. He goes, I need to breathe. I'll be back. He finally came back, went to the office to our next supervisor and let him have it. As soon as he came out and walked in, I said, and I want to follow up on that. I said, this has been going on all day. I said, I'm not here to tattle, but this is enough. And the second supervisor is very cool. He says, thank you for that. He said, I want it to be a positive environment. And problem is he's friends with somebody in the office. And that somebody in the office is related to the supervisor. Yikes! However, if you have enough people saying the same thing, they got to do something about it. 3 people been fired just since I've been there for a month. They don't play. Why do people be rude to people for no reason? I answered his questions. I said, I don't recall doing it. I may have inadvertently. Well, you did. Well, I don't recall that. I recall picking up boxes with the flaps open, no contents in them, and I was assuming that they were done. They got old shipping labels, and we don't reuse those. And after 10 minutes of this bullshit, well, yeah, I said, it looks like there are used boxes thrown all over. You're right. No, it does. It looks like that was the end of it. So you took 10 minutes to get there. I beat you there in 60 seconds. You're 6 years younger than me, and you fail to realize I have 59 years of experience, the likes of which you can't even hold a candle to. You grew up out here, you got some farm animals, and you go to work, and I've been all over the frickin' world. Well, part of it, and the US, and my ups and downs. And, don't diminish other people. And why is it that every place has people like that? Then he's being a bossy butt. He's not a boss over anybody. Not anybody. Like myself, he's under others. He's not even a boss over me. And I've been nice. And I told that to the super. I said, I have been nothing but kind to him. And I haven't gone up against him because I'm not going to do that. But I said, he's been snippy, bitey. He accused me and even shook his head because I came and told him about the boxes. I said, they said you were about, he says, no, I asked where were the boxes that battery came in. They were walking around with the battery. I said, I saw that. I said, he's talking about something that he says I might have done the first 2 weeks. I said, I don't recall throwing a bunch of perfectly good boxes that were flat and unused. I said, but there's so much trash around there, I might have swept them up. Mike, don't worry about it. You didn't do anything wrong. Y'all go through that? Brothers in Hamburger Hill. Hamburger Hill. You know what? I've seen that, Trump. Yep. People like to do that. The person that's bending your ear about somebody else will be bending somebody's ear about you when your back is turned, says the snake. And my problem is I'm nice and I'm trusting. But, I might reach up for the stove a second time to make sure the coil is not hot. And when you go, then you go, stop it. Michael, stop it. Oh, we had somebody do that. She told me she went to the bathroom at the office because she said I can waste 10 minutes. Well, the office noticed that as well. I looked at her, I joked, I said, really? I said, you just started here and you're already trying to find ways to cruise on out of stuff. I said, girl, that's not going to go well for you. Folks, work is a drag. It's a curse. God said it. You work by the sweat of our brow. I mean, years ago, people got jealous because Google people, they're sitting there throwing balls in the office. Yeah, they're freaking billionaires, and look at what they're doing to you. You can't even watch a YouTube video without having 2 ads overlaid over it. And then it interrupts the middle of a 3-minute song. I want to yell at Google, you guys are greedy bastards. You got to cut off a 3-minute song? Stop your greed. How much is enough? When Zuckerberg bought voting machines, spent $500 million or $300 million on voting machines when Biden was running, I thought, oh boy, here we go. You think they weren't pre-programmed? I trust Zuckerberg and these clowns that own social media as far as I can throw a baseball. Zuckerberg, yes. Man, I get so busy on what I'm doing, my bladder's about to burst, and I'll finally put my stuff. Man, I got to go to the toilet. I like to finish what I'm doing. I've even missed a break. I get so busy, and they finally fixed the bell, but it wouldn't ring, and all of a sudden I'd come out of one of the warehouses. Where is it? Oh, shoot. They're all on break. If you're watching the clock, sucks to be you. Get busy. Your day goes faster. Get busy. Work like it's your company. Even if they don't notice, God does. God is our boss, folks. He's our Heavenly Father. He's our Jehovah Jireh. He's our provider. John, I don't. I used to play Atari back in the day. You work 12s. I did it when I was in the school bus. I don't miss that. I don't miss driving these kids around no more. I have hung it up. CDL's still intact, but I'm done. If I could go back to the 1950s and drive a bus, I would, but not no more. These kids, man, they're a mess. Most of them. People like to say not all. I didn't say all. Most, the majority. They're growing up being brainwashed. These young people want the government to do stuff for them. Get a job, kids. Not everybody can be a YouTube queen. Even me. 7,300 viewers or 7,400 viewers. I'm not making a living off of this. I'm not even making a dime right now. Nobody has donated. I had 4 donations totaling $201 plus physical gifts sent to me. And I'm not downing those at all. But people will pay toilet seat man and shower boy and Ewu. Hey, you get what you pay for, man. Absolutely, Trump. Get busy with the task. Work becomes a little bit addicting when you just focus on it. You start thinking, when I get in today, I'm going to get those rings after they've been polished up, put them in the boxes, crate that up, get that out. My thing is I want to get everything done before Friday ends so that everything's out, rolling on trucks and not sitting for 2 days when it could be air travel or truck travel. As a stay-at-home mom, that is a full-time job that has gone largely unrecognized by most people. But God sees it, and may He bless you. I will be back. I need to clean it up and make some breakfast. I met a strange lady. She made me nervous. You better run, you better take cover. Yeah. I love it. I cooked fish last night and the kitchen still smelled like fish. Do not cook cod in the house. That smell will get into your closet, and then all your clothes will smell like cod. I didn't cook cod. People are going to yell at me on the chat for this one, but I had tilapia, and everybody's telling me tilapia is horrible. I don't know. I think it's pretty decent. But, what am I doing? You better run. You better take cover. Go to Australia. Arwu, where are you from, if I can ask? I don't know where you come from. They're supposed to have a Thanksgiving shindig for us today. They're doing it early. I can't eat most of the stuff at that. I cannot have turkey. Turkey makes me throw up. Ever since I was a child, that's been the case. I don't know why. I used to like it. I don't. Cannot have it. Absolutely cannot have turkey meat. Can eat any other meat, but no turkey. And I love Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite holidays. But, what is this? Sunflower seeds with no shells. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Wow, this is stupid. Strike that little thing off and it doesn't work. Yeah! Waste of time. Once again, all faults can be traced back to corporate America. All. They're charging us too much money for stuff. Now I get my candy. My candies, my ginger chews. 75, yeah, it's going to be near 80 tomorrow, but then next week, the highs are going to be in the 50s, so the cold weather is coming in on the express to Georgia. Mob Rules was saying snow this week in Ohio coming. It's beginning to look a lot like winter, even though it is still fall. Let's see. Those are not bad. I remember Fisher Nuts used to make, but they had sunflower seeds that were really good. No salt. Problem with nut products, they put too much salt on it. And I heard that Fisher at one time was owned by Anheuser-Busch. And the reason they oversalt stuff is so that you'll buy the beer and drink the beer to slake the thirst. It's a hand in glove relationship. Interesting. And I don't drink. I don't smoke. And I don't chew. And I don't go with girls who do. At all. No exceptions. I want to say something. Am I wrong for saying this? Maybe I am. This is a discussion only, not for angering people. Do girls tend to be layered with more addictions than men? Yes or no? My observation is yes. They have to have their dog, have to have cats, have to have Starbucks, have to have their cigarette, have to have their marijuana, have to have their alcohol. I mean, they're not easy. And that's why people ask, well, I don't have a girlfriend. I said they got too much stuff dangling out of their life that I can't live with. Too much stuff. Way too much. I don't think I'm perfect. A new way to spell the F word. I like that. Franny O. Maine got... Wow, they already got Christmas lights up. And we're not even at Thanksgiving yet. Carol. Women are also the main targets for marketing. I believe that. I've actually heard that. Who spends more, men or women? Who is more likely to get in debt and not be able to pay it? I'd like to know the stats on who files bankruptcy out of the sexes, men or women more. Anybody know? Who spends money out of the sexes on crap that has no value more than the other? Ladies, all that holiday stuff people buy, waste of money. That's a WOM, folks. Junk, no value, bric-a-brac. Crap that sits all year in a closet. Do you know if a shopping mall went out of business, it wouldn't even affect me? I buy more stuff out of the flea market than anywhere else. People's used things are my treasures. And you are witness. You saw me polish off a banana, finish up the 2 last bags of granola, wiped out a whole bag of chips, 1 big cheese slice from Aldi, a dab of sunflower seeds, and now I'm going to eat a whole bowl of vegetables and rice. Congratulations. Your favorite YouTube artist is a pig. But it is not wasted. You know, an ocean liner needed like a massive amount of fuel just to start up its engines and move 3 feet. That's me. But my output is huge, so the fuel consumption is higher. That's right, Arwoo. Franny, because you are smart, and I respect that. All I bought is used trucks. I want a new truck, one that doesn't break. And I was saying I want a new drug, and it was called I want a new truck. One that won't break down or dump off downtown. You know, you got to come up with I want a new truck. Who was that? Huey Lewis? Really, Carol? Men are good at collecting a bunch of stuff. I used to collect Tonkas, Buddy L's, Structos, Ertls, and Nylons. The big steel trucks. I sold that whole collection years ago. I wish I'd have kept some of those pieces, though. Like the mighty Tonka tow truck with the twin booms on the back with the hooks. Oh my gosh, was that a beautiful truck. I wish I'd have kept a few things. And the news. ATL, you show you're from Atlanta. They're typically ignorant from that city. Food stamps is not a part of my life because I work for a living, and this is my home that I've remodeled myself. No thanks to the government. However, I am in Augusta, and a lot of people sit on their ass and do nothing here but let their homes go down the toilet and get EBT and have SRP stickers on the back of their window. Not drawing attention to the usual suspects. Oh, yeah. Arwoo, yes, sir, unfortunately. Discussed to Georgia. But guess what? God brought me here for a reason. I still don't know what it is. But he's taking care of me. Yep. You got to be broke to get any kind of assistance. And remember Obamacare? That was a joke. 20 million Americans benefited from that out of 330 million. Well, ATL, if you want to get the correct name, the name is Michael. ATL for Atlanta, you're educating me. Duh, I know that. Just like CHI is Chicago. Just like Law is LA. Just like HK is Hong Kong, where I lived. Did you ever live in Hong Kong, ATL? Did you ever get out of Georgia or go anywhere? Tell us your story. Tell us something that fascinates and bedazzles us. And I'm proud of my top. Does that bother you? Don't know what to say. Don't sit and watch the channel then. Easy. Reach up, click the red X, and go to another live. That's the beauty of freedom. Or were you one of those ones that supported a communist Muslim mayor being elected in your city? Because if you did, well, then I don't need to talk to you any further. Goes to the elite. I bet you I can guess what ethnicity you are, ATL. Just on what you're saying. Because you just shouted it out so loud. Racism is all my fault. I'm part of the privilege. Nobody helped me on this house, dude. Nobody bought this place for me. I worked my ass off for a pittance, and they don't pay worth shit in the South. Keep going, dude. I will roast you on a skewer with truth. He's calling me Esau because in the Bible, Esau was said he was red and hairy. I'm actually not hairy. I cut all my hair off and I'm smooth, baby. Ooh. Not for you, but for a woman. Well, I'm moving on up to the east side, to that deal. Lots of apartment in the sky. Zestier as Italian dressing. Thank you, Tyron. I like that. I am dogmatic and immovable on some things, and I'm open-minded about others. But I am a conservative, and I'm not going to move 1 inch on this statement. Democrats are liars, cheaters, unethical, frickin' crooks. You want to make America better? Disarm Democrats, defund them, make Nancy Pelosi and all these communist-supporting Democrats give away their money, share the wealth, like Obama used to say. Obama hasn't shared 1 dime of his money with us, by the way. Every Democrat that gets in office gets richer and richer and richer. And the Republicans too. You're supposed to be public servants. ATL, so you're a shaved gorilla. That's nice. I don't know if I want to see that. The rare sighting of the hairless gorilla. Is that like the hairless chihuahua? Or the albino squirrel? Republicans. Look, I'm not loyal to the Republican Party. I vote for it because we're in a two-party system, unfortunately. But I will never, so help me God, vote for the Democrat left. ATL, did you know that the Democrats supported slavery and they were against ending it? Did you know that the Democrats supported the Jim Crow laws? They created it. Did you know that they started the KKK? Did you know that, ATL? Why would people vote for them? Why? So are you elite if you don't get food stamps? Apparently, Colette, that's what he was saying. I didn't know that you had to be elite to not get food stamps. I thought it was called get a job. Join the many masses that trudge to work every day and pay their taxes so that you can sit on your ass and buy a car with 3-foot pimpy rims. I hate the police, but I love buying Crown Vics. And I'm going to go down the street with one arm like this. I'm a mother effer. All the N-I-G-G-A-R-E-S in the club. Saying the N-word, saying the N-word, saying the N-word, saying the N-word. But if a white guy says the N-word, racism, burn the city down, tear up everything. Everybody gets a free TV in the black community. Congratulations. Here we go, folks. The turbo is spooling up on Michael Nelson, and you can't stop me now. Let's talk about that beautiful, let's roll that beautiful beam footage of the black left and how they want to cry about all the injustice while they rape and pillage our system, and they cost the American justice system billions of dollars every year because the crime stats in the African American community are the highest over all ethnic people in the world. Boom. Are we having fun yet? Thank you, ATL. I needed a burst. I needed a Friday pick-me-up burst. Atlanta sucks. At least LA, you got the ocean and Disneyland. I grew up in Los Angeles, ATL. Way better than the ATL. Way better. My favorite was the ocean. Screw the city. I like the ocean because when you stand on it, your back is to the city. And I look out on the ocean, it's so big. And I've swam in it. I love the ocean. The ocean symbolizes freedom. Did you know Jonah got a free whale ride for 3 days? See, Carol? Because you know, Carol, it's not Trump's fault. Schumer's responsible for that crap. Why? Because the Democrats want to fund the illegals and give them health care while we can't get it. Aren't the Democrats awesome freaking people? How do you spell loser? Schumer is a jackass. He's a loser. George Soros needs to be extradited out of America. The UN? Their building needs to be sold, and they need to be kicked out of this country. The Democratic Party needs to be defunded, disarmed, and dethroned. Nancy Pelosi finally, the rebellious, lawless, godless, self-serving, hypocritical Democrat ever, finally admitted she's not running again. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Nancy Pelosi's not running again. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, praise God. Are we having fun yet? Oh, ATL, you're such a butthole. How'd you like it if somebody came up and went and laughed as blood spurts out of your head? Would you enjoy that? Easy to think that, isn't it? Would you like it if everybody did that to you? You're a clown. You're a loser. And what did Charlie do to you, ATL? Not one damn thing. Was he a threat to you? Did you get your feelings hurt? Do you need a tub of butt hurt ointment? Are you a snowflake? Are you a pussy? I think so. So you guys can dish out all the hate, all the anger, get butt hurt, but you don't care about anybody's feelings at all. This bud's for you. I know that's not Christ-like. I know that. I pray God will open your eyes and you see the truth, but I doubt it's going to happen. Triggered? You're the one that's triggered. What did you just say in the room, butthole? You think it's funny Charlie Kirk got assassinated. You know what he did? He told people the truth. Did he threaten anybody? Did he walk around with weapons? Did he shoot and kill black people? No, black people shoot and kill black people. Huh. Do you ever pay attention to statistics, dude? Do you pay attention to facts? Do you? No, you don't. ATL was just exposed to more truth in this room today than he has ever been exposed to in his entire life. That's why this channel exists. Because my enemies who think they're doing all this shit talk are learning more truth in here than they've ever learned in their entire existence. Oh, Nikki's in here. Nikki's awesome. Thank you, Nikki. Nikki is what people don't realize about Nikki. Nikki's extremely intelligent. I've had many phone conversations with her. She is extremely articulate and smart. She served our country. And she's been through some shit. No thanks to anybody. And she served our country, and she's a smart lady. And she doesn't like people like ATL running their mouth and saying the dumbass things they do. And I'm sure that ATL is black because he just reeks of a black liberal. And their race has hurt themselves so deeply. There are black people leaving the black mentality. Praise God. There are black people that are voting conservative. God-fearing, my neighbor's a black man, ATL, and he's way better than you. He's not a problem. I'm sure he votes Democrat, but he doesn't. He keeps his property clean, and I get along well with him. I'm glad you're not my neighbor, because you'd probably be a danger to my existence. Neeks! Hi, Jess. Mr. E-Rock, how are you? I do not love. Yeah, what's funny is ATL subscribed and waited 5 minutes just to spite me. That's the truth. They all do that. But here's what I have to look at. I need to rejoice because at least they stay for a few minutes. I mean, I got mad that they're all coming in here. I'm like, wait a minute, Michael. They're hearing you speak. They're getting more truth in here than they will anywhere else. They're coming in here with intent to be rude. That's why people say you shouldn't engage with them. Absolutely wrong. I should engage with them. I should look them in the eye and call them out. That's what they need. Am I threatening their existence? Am I making death threats on them? Am I a danger to them? Not at all. Think, ATL. God gave you a brain, not a train, a brain. Use it. Look at your party. Look at the dumb things you're saying. When you're rejoicing that a guy was shot for engaging in a college campus setting to get kids to think, there's something wrong with you, bro. That ain't right. I pray God have mercy on your soul because you need Jesus. You're going to find out when you die, bro. When you stand before God, you're not going to be right. I promise you that. And you'll remember my words for eternity. That I'm convinced of. So I tried to warn you. Come on over to the other side. The air is much fresher when you believe the truth. Hello, Izzy. That's right, Izzy. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. These liberals beat on the same busted drum day in and day out. I always come back to racism, elitism, racism. It's just the race carousel go round. Simpleton. People that aren't deep. People that are stuck on planet racism. You haven't been out of the world, haven't been out there. Why don't you go listen to Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson? Go taking a steady diet of that again. That ought to cure your ills. Rabble rousers, if I ever say so. You know, I lost my job because they said I was racist because I commented on the black behavior surrounding that white woman's beatdown in Cincinnati. And I think what really set him off is I dared to criticize Nicki Trash Minaj and Cardi Trash Beat. These are not people that I would ever hold up, and our society parades that around in great pride. They're happy when their 3-year-old black daughters are down there with no clothes on twerking, and they video that and put it on TikTok. Way to go, Mom. Pass the baton of decadence and sleaze and Jerry Springer to your kids. Yeah. I have every right to criticize that. That does not make me a racist. You guys have laughed at us. You laugh at our music, and our music isn't even foul like that. At least the stuff I grew up on. I don't have to like black culture. I do not have to. It does not make me a racist. Your culture is boring. Boring. All you talk about is racism, real or imagined. And you get this big, and you're going to be the grand kahuna and control everybody. And you play shitty music, and you rock the neighborhood, and there's nothing in you guys that I envy. Nothing. I don't want to be just like you. And I'm not a racist. Once again, I work with black people. I don't have a problem with it. Because now we're in a place where we're too busy to get into all that BS. One guy still needs to learn that. He happens to be, yeah. It's ridiculous. Talking about racial issues does not make you a racist. But you got a lot of liberals that think that nobody can say anything about them or hurt their feelings. And they've been conditioned to believe that if I say anything that disagrees with the black community, I'm a racist. That is not the definition of racism, people. Look it up in the dictionary. Racism is when I hate a people group for their ethnicity or their color or their features. I've always been curious about black women. Some of them are beautiful. But, you know, I get tired of talking about this. I didn't like getting fired because that's dehumanizing. I did not do anything worth firing. Somebody got their panties in a wad over something I said on my time in my house, ignored my work ethic, never praised my work ethic, and now they're not getting anything done and they don't have anybody that's going to do what I did, and I think it's funny. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Your buses will not get repaired. They're not going to. They'll be half-assed like they were for 8 years. And yes, I said that. Because I'm good at what I did. All right, ATL, you just got yourself kicked out. Calling me an immigrant? No, I'm a native, bro. I was born here. This chat is cooked. Nikki, thanks for coming in. I better go too. It's time to pay my debt to society and go to work. I need to go to work so I can support everybody's EBT Section 8 and riots and free speech. Yep, got to go to work to pay their bills. I got to go to work so I can pay for the increasing rise in groceries due to theft at Walmart. Because the CEO's passing it on to all the honest people. Isn't that awesome? I got to go to work because I got to pay for all the criminal justice that costs are soaring out of control with all the Democrats and what they've done. What do I do for work? I work warehouse. That's all I'm going to say because we got trolls. Yes, people are fun. What happened to Dawn? Did she leave us? I apologize that I had to get pretty tough on somebody yesterday. I want to make it very clear. I don't enjoy hurting people's feelings. I'm not a YouTube troll. I get mad at lies, and I get mad at double behavior. People being rude in the chat, leaving cynical comments about me, flirting with me, and then being rude on Discord. And you deserve to be called out. And that goes for anybody. I'm not against anybody flirting me. That does not offend me. If you're married, you shouldn't be. If you're single, flirt away. But don't flirt me, lead me on, and then go and say rude things over here. And then come into my channel and criticize. Why are you here? People say, oh, he doesn't accept criticism. I do, from those that are closest to me. But a bunch of random chatters? No. It's my channel. I'll cry if I want to. I mean, gosh, go criticize toilet seat, dude. Grown man putting frosting and sprinkles on a toilet seat and makes a whole channel over toilet seat around his neck. Or Mr. Shower HU meditation triangle jump, jump, jump with a water bill that's got to fund the ocean. I want to buy me one of those triangles. And I should find it. If I ever replace my toilet seat, I'll come on and do that. Do ode to toilet seat, man. Neeks likes it. She likes it. She likes it. Neeks, that passion that's in me verbally is also in me in every other way. You've been called a racist so much that I don't even care anymore. And that's sad, Franny. There's a clown in a room that is disturbing as well. Who's the clown, Carol? Is it me? Fund the ocean, I've seen that. Well, now we got fund the homeless. We got the guy demanding that you pay him, and he's homeless. But he's got a phone. Okay. Hello, Mrs. 8. You know, I got all aroused today. Everybody's criticizing my dressing, and I was feeling my nipple, and I got all worked up. We do inject humor in here. You're a Christian. You shouldn't be laughing about that. Laughing because I said I felt my nipple and got aroused? Yeah, sometimes I touch myself. I don't have a woman to touch me, so what are you going to do? Oh, the spooky clown. Now that one I missed. Antifa Quifa. Oh, Franny, they love to criticize mixed race. That's messed up. That's racism too. Oh, JJ, I talked about it yesterday and earlier in this. I think that the New York voting populace should be required to do a psych evaluation test. If they don't pass, they don't get to vote. You voted in a communist Muslim who said he wants to bring in Sharia law. Now, I don't agree with the Democrats, but I cannot believe that they're going to submit to that one. And CNN is even taking this clown to task. CNN. The most ridiculous news. It's not news, but the most ridiculous so-called journalism out there. My outfit is racist. Oh, Mrs. 8, be fun if you were naked underneath that, no bra. A silk robe with nothing on. Now that is just, wow, I could have fun on you with that one. Hey, if that's all you're wearing is leggings, it wouldn't bother me. I'm like, leggings and nothing else? I like scantily clad women. See, you got to lighten up, man. All right, Chelsea, have a good one. You be safe. All right, folks, that wraps it up for another Rant and Live. One of the greatest orgasms I ever had was at Flatwoods Park in Florida. I admit, I got deep off the paved path and went on a side dirt trail deep into what I call the Florida jungle. It was such a nice day. It was overcast, but it was so warm. I took off all my clothes, had my sandals on, and it felt so good to be naked. I'm getting older. My inhibitions are going away. Being naked out there in that breeze dancing across my skin, that was hot. That was absolute fun. And heels and dark lipstick, oh my. Mrs. 8 is pouring it on. And thank you. You know what? And people will judge my Christianity because I'm honest like this. Folks, I'm glad that some people pretend when they go to church that they don't have a sex drive, that they don't laugh at something foul. You know, God's not done with us. Self-righteousness, being miserable is not a sign of godliness. Thank you, folks. You know, Colette, you're onto something there. Man, that's a frameable. That's a frameable quotable. Congratulations, Colette. I agree with that 100%. Look, being naked in that park in Florida was so awesome. And no, there were not children there. I was way out. I'm going to share this with you and I'm going to close. I almost got caught masturbating. I went into an area and there was what looked like swamp. And I was in the trees enjoying things, and all of a sudden I hear something and there's a truck come blasting through and I'm like, oh my gosh. Pulled my clothes on as quick as I could. He went down to check some gauge on a stand out in the swamp. He had a hip boots, and I just carefully was like the Pink Panther, ding between the trees and stepping out of there real quick. Like, wow, I can't even have a private moment, and I did not know that there was a way down here for a truck to get in and check the gauge of all places. Why am I saying that? Because that's life. There are nudist beaches in North Carolina? I did not know that. I would not mind being naked with other people. I think it's fun. It's very freeing. Everybody thinks that everybody's having a big old orgy. They're not. They're not. People say, you're a Christian. Yep, I'm human. I like the skin I was birthed in. Why should I be ashamed? I'm almost 60 and I don't have a big old pot nut hanging out and balding and white hair down my chest. Hey, I love being a dude. Put some clothes on, Papa. I did not know that. Being Christian doesn't have to suck. Thank you. I'm with that one. I am with that one 100%. Some people think by being uptight, never laughing, and being so... Now, the Bible says to be sober-minded. It does. I've been around Christians that are just silly all the time, and I don't like that either. Balance, folks. Stop being pendulum people. I ought to start a TV series. The Pendulum People will continue after these messages. People that just go from extreme to extreme. And that's why porn exists, and it's the highest viewed in America. That's why drugs and all these sedatives and calm down medications and ADD and ADHA and ADP and, yeah, notice I said the burglar defense company, ADT and DTA and DDT and Agent Orange. I mean, good grief, folks. Why, if we're such a Christian, godly, moral nation, do we have all these medications? Because something's wrong. And I don't take any except for gout, so I don't have a gout. I have a problem with the allopurinol, so I use something to break it down to get it out of me. Not allopurinol. Uric acid. Get it straight, Michael. So, yeah. People get all worked up over just what is holy. Holy is something we are incapable of doing 100% of the time. You ever cleaned your windows or your windshield or your glasses and you think they look good and then the sun hits it and you see all the imperfections? Folks, if God were to show up right now in front of me, I'd be just like, whoa. We all think we're pretty clean, don't we? But when the light of His glory shows up, we're going to see all our ugliness. Okay? So get off your horse. That's right, Izzy. Just so I can focus and go on about my day. I masturbate, and I'm not going to apologize for it. It is the safest sex out there. You're not getting involved with somebody. You know how you avoid adultery and fornication? Relieve yourself in your home. And no, you shouldn't be. You know what's funny? Based on what Jesus said, if you've lusted, you've already committed adultery. So it don't matter if she's married or single or whatever, you've committed adultery. How do you commit adultery if you're lusting after another single woman? I don't know, but that's what it says. Ouch, so we're guilty. Cindy bopped. She bop, she bop. All right, folks. I am not a representation in perfection of Christ. I am Michael Nelson. Jesus is in me. Do I reflect that all the time? No, nobody does. Part of being a Christian is being real. Guy at work the other day, I was shocked. Black guy said, "You doing all right?" He goes, "Nah, sometimes I fake it until I make it." I said, "No, sir." I said, I believe in being real. I said, I can't be any other way. He goes, "I got you, that's all right." I said, "I can't fake it." You know what? Christianity, this is the problem. You go to most of these churches, people are faking it. "How you doing?" "Well, I'm doing well." "Oh, we're in the corporate world in the church too." Okay. This People are drawn to people who have heart more than any other. People who are not of heart are drawn to corporate fakes. There's two classifications of people, folks. Those that are of heart and those that are of a corporate mindset. So be corporate, follow the crowd. Or be heart and be an individual. Okay? Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to you. If you have a job, thank the Lord. Thank the Lord for the graciousness of being able to go to work. Okay? Only do the best you can is absolutely right. All right, folks. With that, I'm going to put a bow tie on it and wrap it up. Thank you for coming. Hey, aces. Did I see aces in there? No, I did not. I'm seeing things. All right, folks. I got to go. I got to go to work. Be safe.